And welcome back, guys. Coach Nate here with Coach Mikey. Today, we are going after half marathon training, the specific run workouts to get you teed up for that PR, that personal record. What do you got for us, Mikey?
So today in this one, excluding all the other excellent healthy things you can be doing, we'll talk specifically about run workouts today. We'll talk about the importance of frequency. We'll talk about a little progressive tempo running. And then, as always, gotta have hills in there somewhere.
Some long hill reps. All right, let's do it. All right, so the first concept that I'd like to talk about in the half marathon training is the real importance of running frequency over collecting miles. I think it's a very common theme to a lot of programs or a lot of PDFs in the magazines and stuff that you see, like, okay, you need to go run 20 miles, 25, 30, 35, but there's really not a lot of purpose behind that. So what I like to try and preach is have frequency to your runs and not really be so focused on just hitting the mileage. I'll give you two really good examples of ends of the spectrum on that front. So you could run 20 miles a week, and there's two really divergent ways you can do it. First way would be taking your weekend, do 2 days in a row, 10 miles Saturday, 10 miles Sunday, that gives you 20. The other way could be to spread it out throughout your week with all the other things that you might need to do to be a healthy runner, and do 5 days a week where you run 4 miles. So both essentially give you 20, but they give you very different stimulus that are either healthy or unhealthy. On the side of the massive miles just to hit the 20, you're gonna get this really big jump in stimulus and then this really difficult and heavy reaction to it. It might not feel great. And then you got 5 other days to do God knows what. All right, so your running may or may not react well to this massive chunk of miles. If you're thinking about frequency in your running and you're running 5 days a week at 4 miles, you can really absorb that. Your body likes that, all right? You're able to show up to those runs a little fresher. You're able to do a little more work inside of those runs, perhaps. And although 5 runs a week might be for someone who's a little more experienced or has a little more background in running, take the concept and maybe do 3 or 4 runs a week where 1 or 2 of them has a lot of focus to it, all right? And then 1 or 2 of them might be just a little more recovery-based, light, fun, social, that type of thing, okay? So if you're a little more frequent on your runs and it's a habit, you'll adapt nicely, your legs will feel good, and when you need to show up for a key run, like a tempo run that we'll discuss later, like a hill workout, you'll just be a little more prepped for it. If you're always focused on the miles, then you're just gonna miss the training effect. You're gonna miss the idea of getting skilled as a runner, and you'll just get worn down, and eventually it kind of burns you out emotionally, physically. Whereas if you're just in the habit of doing it, it feels really good and it gives you a lot of room for progress, okay? All right, next up, we have a concept that I will title a progressive tempo run. So what is a good workout that you can start building into your training or into your program as you're getting ready for a half marathon? I'll regrettably call it a progressive tempo run because I think tempo is a very broad term that can get used in a lot of different ways. It can get used in music and acting, in running maybe. But what I think of when I hear progressive tempo run is an opportunity to work at your race effort or your race pace, if you might know what that is, okay? So the bare bones of this workout would be that you start with a couple miles easy, just building up, getting a little bit of that musculoskeletal fatigue in the body. You have this middle sandwich. The middle of the sandwich is your tempo or your race effort, or for those of you who might be a little more experienced, your race pace. All right, that's the middle of the workout. And then the end, you'll have something similar to the warm-up, which will be a couple miles easy, where you're still in your workout, you're still focused on maintaining form, maintaining quickness of the feet, and other things that you would want to feel if you're in a long run, okay? So specifics to that, for a beginner style workout, or maybe the first one you do for a year, would be 2, 2, and 2. All right, so 2 miles easy, 2 miles race pace / race effort, 2 miles easy / cool down, okay? Good parts of this are you're not stopping, there's no rest, there's no recovery, so it is teaching you that concept of an endurance run, of a strength run, which is precisely what a half marathon is. It's an endurance run, all right? And it's giving you that chance to really work and practice your race pace or your race effort in the middle. So 2 miles easy, 2 miles at race effort, right into 2 miles easy to take it home, okay? Now the progression of this workout is really fun, and it's really simple, which allows you to focus on it nicely and with a lot of clarity. We'll go 2 miles easy, 3 miles race pace, race effort in the middle, 2 miles easy to end. So 2, 3, 2, all right? And then I think if you're following along, you can kind of get the idea. We can go 2, 4, 2. And that, I think, that's a really big half marathon training workout, because you're running 8 miles, right? The race is only 18, and we don't need to, I'm sorry, it's not 18, it's 13, right? 21K, yeah. Math, Mike. 13 miles is a big distance, okay? We don't need to be doing that a lot in training. We don't even really need to be doing 10 miles a lot in training. So if you get to 2, 4, 2 and you're really hitting it and you're feeling good, I would call that the top, all right? But you're really trying to learn pacing yourself for that middle section, whether it's 2, 3, or 4 miles, and then finishing still with good intention, good focus, good posture, and lightness of the feet, okay? So that is a progressive tempo run. All right, kids, last one we'll talk about in this section on half marathon training is, this is the run experience. We have to talk about hills, right? It's one of the greatest training concepts that any runner will use. But there is a different way to do it when you're training for a bigger endurance event like a half marathon, all right? We've talked a lot about hills before, where you're running at really high efforts, at really high power, shorter reps, higher rest. Well, when we go into a half marathon section or a half marathon block, we might want to make those hills just a little more specific to the event that we have, right? So instead of doing blasts at 30 seconds or 45 seconds, I would double that. So think about going and doing some 90-second hill repeats or 2-minute hill repeats. You'll need to find a good hill, a nice long hill that you can run on for a little bit. Maybe not as steep as we might do in more of a power speed training session. So instead of 6 or 8 incline, maybe we want one that's 3 to 5 incline that we can really power up for a good section of time. So now this is important for many, many reasons, I think. And if we even get into the emotional and kind of mental side of running a half marathon, you're not gonna sprint up a hill for 90 seconds. That's very, very difficult. In fact, when you get past 45, when you get past a minute, your energy system's using to get you through that hill or to pump your heart, to pump your blood, is gonna be slightly different than if we're doing 40 to 45 second repeats. So it's mentally and emotionally getting you understanding the pacing concept, the patience of running a half marathon or a longer hill rep. So there's that. And then there's just the wonderful strength component of running up a hill for a good chunk of time. All right, so for example, what I might have someone start with is find a good long runnable hill and do 4 times 90 seconds. You do that, you'll feel it, trust me. You can take a little more recovery. I would run back down the hill the same way you came up, so you're just taking it easy, you're working on foot speed in that recovery. Maybe it's a minute, maybe it's a little more, not a problem. You could progress that. You can go 6 times 90. When you get that, that's a big, big workout. You can come back and do 4 times 2 minutes. All right, that's a really strong session of 8 minutes controlled running uphill. When you're doing this, really thinking about good arm drive, good swing, getting the elbows behind you. Really think about pushing and pulling the ground behind you, using the big toe, driving through the hips. All these things are great, and you won't be sprinting. That's the real key. You won't be sprinting. You'll be at an effort that's a little more familiar to what we would do in a half marathon. Okay?
Yep, that's how I feel.
It's a good start.
Really juicy, really, really juicy. We'll talk about, sorry. Is that weird? I could emphasize less on the juiciness.
Okay.
Hey, this video is really just the start of your running journey, and if you want 2 weeks of free training from us on how to be that stronger, lighter, smoother runner, on how to work on your run drills, on how to get a little bit of strength in there, well, sign up for our free 2-week quick start program. All you need to do is click the link in the video or in the description below this video. And what else should they do, Mikey?
I'd say leave some comments, ask some questions. Like, we love digging in and answering people's thoughts.
We like talking to you guys out there, so drop those down below. You know, if they appreciate this video in a particular way, how can they express their appreciation?
Well, give a real virtual high five, which is via the like button here. I know I like it.
I do too.
Big time.
And of course, subscribe to our channel, guys. We got new videos coming out each every week. We want you to see them. We're gonna keep filming, and we will see you in the next one.
Adios.